I must say I was surprised when the abortion issue bobbed up. I mean, I hadn't realised that it was an issue in the campaign and in Queensland. You've got the access to abortion in the state. Rockhampton candidate, someone called Donna Kirkland, who once shared a social media post claiming, quote, abortion is the greatest human rights abuse of our time. She dodged questions on that today, not surprisingly. Have a look at this.
I just want to be crystal clear. What are you saying? You say it, you say this. What is not part of your plan?
The questions that have been asked are not a part of our plan.
What's your message?
This is not a part of LNP's plan.
No,
the questions that you have asked today are not a part of our plan. We have ruled them out. We have ruled out any conversation around that. We have ruled it out. It is not a part of our plan. You have all been asking the same questions.
Because we're not being given answers.
We have ruled it out.
Well, I'm just sorry,
we have ruled it out. It's not a part of our plan.
You've ruled out a conscience vote.
We have ruled it out. I have ruled it out. We have ruled it out.
That's correct. You've ruled out a conscience vote.
You can ask me those questions.
Yes, David has addressed
I think she's had a fair crack.
Well, not the US. Is that a damaging thing for the LNP?
Look, I think the damage comes from the way they decided to deal with it. And this has now gone on for 3 days solid and arguably 4 days, and is really sort of sucking all the oxygen out of the room. And, you know, I've been there where this sort of stuff's happened, and, you know, I'm very sympathetic for David and the team. But really, I think what they should have done is they should have said that there will be a reconsideration of this issue, and it will be a conscience issue, and so be it. And, you know, Robbie Katter and the KAP have really said that they're going to bring this forward. So the moment that happened, there had to be an answer. And in these sorts of situations, Steve, a clear, unequivocal answer of what you will do is far better than 3 or 4 days of saying, you know, non-answers. And, you know, I was sending a text to someone this afternoon about how things were going. I said, well, look, they've marched into the abortion swamp because they're stuck. They've got the four-wheel drive stuck in the swamp in terms of issues and trying to take their campaign forward. And they're talking about this stuff. I for one, and you know, I think a woman's got to have the right to be able to have an abortion. But I think the abortion laws that we have in Queensland have gone far too far. You know, we're basically happy to terminate, babies that are almost viable human beings. I think that's wrong. So, I think there are many people who would understand if the LNP were talking along those lines, but emphasising that they still support a woman's right to have an abortion. Now, the trouble they've got, mate, is internally they've got people from the Christian right who legitimately have their view, who wouldn't be satisfied at all with what I've just said, of course. And those arguments continue, but it's a pity they're there. And by the way, I feel that the Labor Party have been wily enough to throw this in because I haven't got it to hand to hold it up, but the Labor candidate in the seat that I lived in has today delivered a brochure that talks about this and claims that the LNP will, basically take away women's rights to have an abortion. Now, these things take 3 or 4 days to produce. How did the Labor Party know that this was going to be the issue here tonight? I think there's been some work around, some of the dark arts to feed this into the election campaign.
Very good insight as usual, Campbell. Catch up with you next Friday. Thank you. And Campbell, of course, along with Anastasia Palaszczuk, will be on the Sky coverage of election.